So this Shabbat, we found the source for the blessing we say when entering a synagogue every morning. Ma tovu aleichem Yaakov mishlotecha Israel. How good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. This was said by a pagan prophet by the name of Balaam. It was commissioned by the king of Moab, Balak, to come and curse the Israelites. The Israelites had wandered, made their way through the wilderness, through the territories of the king of Sihon and Og, and both territories were conquered by the Israelites. And now they're approaching Moab, and the king of Moab, Balak, is afraid that they will do the same to his kingdom. So he summons this pagan prophet Balaam to come and curse the Israelites. Unlike Amalek, who were told to attack the Israelites from the rear and did not fear God, King Balak did fear God. And he believed that Balaam, who spoke to God, the God of Israel, was capable of coming and cursing the Israelites to make sure that they could not win in a battle against the Moabites. So he summons Balaam, and Balaam, we know that it's a long story. Eventually Balaam comes to Balak to take up the commission. And he's told by God in the beginning, before he leaves home, that whatever comes out of his mouth will be God's words. And so we have the story of how Balaam makes Balak sacrifice to God, God of Israel, before commencing. And he opens his mouth and out comes blessings. And Balak is angry and says, I commissioned you to curse the Israelites. So Balaam says, well, maybe we should go from another side, look down on the camp from another vantage point. So they go to another place, and once again Balak offers sacrifices to God. Once again Balaam speaks, and words of blessing come out his mouth. This happens 4 times. In the end, Balak gives up. Balak believed that whoever Balaam curses will be cursed, and whoever Balaam blesses will be blessed. And because Balaam could only bless the Israelites, couldn't find anything to inspire him to curse the Israelites, Balak acknowledges defeat. From this week's parasha, which is considered by many academic scholars to be another book, a 5th book of the Torah, book on its own, which is sort of in the middle of the book of the Bamidbar, book of Numbers. From this story, we learn 3 lessons. The first is that you should never use God to justify any actions that are unjust. You should never use God's name to commit atrocities, because that's blasphemy. God is a God of life. And so whenever people use God to justify their actions contrary to the life-affirming principles of all religions, then they are committing atrocities and blasphemy. The second lesson is that we are incumbent to take the negativity of the world and change it to positive energy. A blessing and a curse, although we think of them as opposites, have something in common. They're both projections into the future. Blessing is projection of well-being, of health, of happiness, of prosperity. And a curse is a future projection of the opposite, of poverty, of disease, of sorrow. We have the ability to make a curse into a blessing, to change the negative in the world into positive. And so we are obliged to do that, to feed the hungry, to clothe those who need clothing, to fight against injustice, poverty, and war. The second lesson we learn is that nothing is beshet, nothing is destined, but we can change our future. Balaam looked down on the camp of the Israelites to find reason for cursing them. According to the Midrash, he could only find reasons to bless them. If you want to make our lives into a blessing, if you want to make the world a blessed place, we need to act accordingly. So when you use God's name to persecute others, when you use our knowledge to make the world a negative place, you are living a curse, and you will be cursed. If you use God's name for good, you use our knowledge for good, and you transform the world into a place of blessing, of life, of prosperity, of happiness. And so when we read the blessing every morning, Ma tovu alecha Yaakov mishlotecha Israel, how good are your tents, O Jacob, your dwelling places, O Israel. You can transform this into a prayer. That one day you can say this with conviction, you can look around the world and say, Ma tovu alecha Yaakov mishlotecha Israel, how good are your tents, O all peoples, the dwelling places, O world. That you can transform this phrase taken from a pagan prophet as a form of blessing and transform that into reality by making our lives lives of blessing. Can you hear it, son?